Well, one of the biggest memories of Hurricane Ida was the loss of power across the region. Tens of thousands of people lost power as the storm hit. Ida's wind knocked down Entergy's transmission tower in Jefferson Parish that powered New Orleans and much of JP. It took nearly a year to rebuild. Entergy says it was taking steps to make sure its new towers are strong enough to withstand powerful winds, and that tower just some of the destruction brought on by the storm. We saw just destruction in Jefferson Parish in several different areas in so many different forms. Let's catch up with the parish as they still recover and find out what they've learned in the past year. Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Sheng is joining us to give us the latest on JP 1 year after Hurricane Ida. Just take us back. Your parish suffered widespread damage in the most vulnerable areas, Grand Isle and Lafitte, but also Upper Jefferson, specifically Kenner, saw major damage.
Yeah, I think it was just such a major storm, and every storm is so different. But throughout the parish, if you start in the south in Grand Isle, like I explained, it looked like a bomb went off. There were structures that were completely gone. Just there's no evidence that they ever existed. That's how bad it was in Grand Isle. Sand everywhere. We lost connection with the water. We had to rebuild the water, barge water in for months later. Lafitte looked very different, mud everywhere. And it was inundated with water. We had to get in by boat. And, just after the storm, there were fires on the Barataria side. We had to fight fires by boat. So real challenges in the southern part of the parish outside the levee protection system. But Upper Jefferson had its different challenges. Kenner, a lot of them, people in Kenner, their roofs were damaged. We were all dealing with the loss of electricity and the loss of water pressure and the loss of our sewer system that was dependent on electricity. We wanted to make sure we were just kind of fighting the clock. So it was really, very time of crisis for us back then. But if you go to Grand Isle now, if you go to Lafitte, you really can see the amount of work that has been done in a year. And I was just in both communities, and it's just amazing. And it speaks to the level of dedication to all of our teams across, not just government teams, but, utilities and nonprofits and churches and everything, who got those communities back on their feet and look much, much better. But still, I know people are still dealing with a lot of issues and a lot of insurance issues as well a year later.
Yeah, so a year later, what percentage do you think you are to kind of getting back to normal, or will there never be back to normal?
Well, I think some families will never be back to normal. I just was with a friend in Lafitte, and he told me, insurance still has not paid him. So, the improvements to his home and his rebuilding his life came at his own cost, and he'll be in court for that. So I think, family by family, we still deal with this. Now, in terms of our systems, we look like what we should be doing is rethinking it. How do we build it stronger? The water system, the electrical grid, those kind of things. And certainly as we approach this hurricane season, we really did a deep dive into our own processes with all of our internal departments, and how can we make things better? How can we even be more responsive? How can we be responsive to anything that might, come upon us very quickly that we didn't anticipate? How can we be that flexible? So we've spent, all these months doing our own tabletop exercises. We're going to have more people throughout the parish stationed for the next storm, which I hope will be a long time away. We'll have gas further, distributed throughout the parish for our teams, for first responders teams. We'll have a food, different food scenario for us. So we are looking inward at ourselves this entire year and really going through that process of how do we improve for the next storm. And look, we're very good at responding. It's not something that you want to be good at, but with the amount of storms that have hit us recently, right, we're kind of a little battle worn with that. And so, we just hope nobody has to deal with this year.
Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Sheng, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.